Good afternoon, everybody. Auronnj here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're doing episode number 4 of Let's Suggest Supports, and we're going with a different type of support today. We are going with Cecil. So we're moving away for a little bit from those healers, buffers, and we're going to a guy who is a damage-reducing bruiser character. What does that even mean? What is a damage-reducing bruiser character, and why is Cecil a support, not a tank or something? We're going to show you right now. So let's start by putting Cecil's main job and his sub job on the screen. Now we're looking at Lunar Paladin here, and we're going to start by looking at Cecil's buffs. This will give you the idea of his damage-reducing capabilities right off the top. So first of all, let's look at Devoted Defense. This is Cecil's best buff. It consumes 25% of his own HP, but he gives an AoE buff to his teammates that reduces physical damage taken by 50% 3 times. So it's not a turn-based buff or anything like that. It is a 3-hit 50% damage reduction buff that he can hit both of his teammates with at once. Now he cannot use this on himself. He can't hit himself with it. But it does work on both his teammates if he can hit them at once, and it will last until they've been hit 3 times. Now, he likes to then follow that up with Light's Protection, which gives him 12 defense and 12 spirit, which makes him into more of a bruiser character, lets him take a few hits, especially with that reduced HP that he just gave up for Devoted Defense. I'll touch on Devoted Guard really quick. It sort of does the same thing, but for magic opponents, but it's single target, and I would really suggest Cecil as more of a unit you want to run as a support against physical-based teams, not magical-based teams. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So okay, you're seeing the story kind of develop here, right? Okay, he has a shield, he can give it to his friends, they take less damage, he's a bruiser, but that's not enough. And I agree, that's not enough. You need to look at his attacks as well as his buffs to see how Cecil really does his job. So let's switch to the attacks. You see Speed of Light, Shining Double, Holy Knight's Blade Attack, and then you see like Lightbringer down there. Okay, let's talk about these. Real quick, Speed of Light, cheap move, does a little bit of damage, gives him some agility. He'll use it sometimes if he only has a little bit of AP left, but it's not his main thing. His main thing is Holy Knight's Blade Attack, the one on the bottom of his main job here. It does large damage in a cross-based AoE and decreases the attack of the people it hits by 39%. So this is that other way, or one of the other ways, that Cecil can reduce the damage of the other team. If they're grouping up, if they're coming at you, and he can hit 1 or 2 of them with this attack, he has nerfed their damage. So he's buffing your team's ability to take damage and nerfing the enemy's team ability to do damage. It takes some cleverness to make this guy work, but in the right scenario, he significantly increases the survivability of your team. Oh, and he's doing large damage at the same time. It is pretty common to see Cecil's with 1,000 attack, and he has large-based damage abilities. Pretty good. That hit in an AoE. We can also talk about a move like Shining Double, right? 2-hit attack, chance of inflicting disable. Hey, disable, another way of removing damage from your opponent by crowd controlling them. Alright, I think the picture's starting to become clear. Now real quick, I do want to touch on his limit break because it does also provide some crowd control. However, I wouldn't suggest investing heavily into this. I wouldn't level this anywhere past maybe 10 because he's going to prefer to use his Holy Knight's Blade Attack instead of this. They both scale with damage the same way, but his Limit Burst is a single target attack, whereas Holy Knight's attack is an AoE attack and cheaper on the AP cost. So the AI is going to prefer his AoE attack to Sacred Rage, his Limit Break. However, there are situations where maybe it's Fight 2 of Guild Wars or something like that, and he's used up all of his AoE attacks, and he'll go to this. Okay, it's a good move in that case. it will stun the person it hits. Well, it says it has a 67% chance to stun, but on limit breaks, that's pretty much going to hit most of the time, unless the opponent is very low faith or your Cecil is very low faith. And that stun is another way he can reduce damage that the enemy's going to do back to you. Alright, so that's all I really wanted to say about his kit. That's kind of the theory behind how I run him as a support and how other people run him as a support. So let's look at a team for Cecil, and then let's see him function in Arena and see what his shields and debuffs can do in an actual fight. Alright, before we jump into a fight, let's take a look at the party we have for Cecil here, and what we kind of want to happen with this party. So here's the idea. We have Cecil running Leviathan. Now he's running Leviathan for a couple reasons. One, we want this Pierce attack resist. Because Cecil is just here to help the group, he can run kind of the vision cards you need to get that resist you want or whatever. We're going to choose Piercing here for a couple reasons. One, it's a really good card that gives stats that Cecil likes a lot. But two, we like this ability right here. Cecil's going to be low on HP kind of naturally, so we're hoping that maybe he can get a crash edge off in there somewhere, and we can see the potential of this ability to do damage as your own HP goes down. Plus, Cecil gets the bonuses from the limited effects, and yeah, great card on Cecil. Been looking forward to using this card since I saw what the things on it were. Now, other than that, Cecil's running two-headed dragon to boost his stats more. This puts him over 1,000 attack, so he can fulfill his job better of being that cleanup damage towards the end of a fight. 62 agility is not bad in this build, and yeah, you can just see he's a bruiser who buffs and debuffs, and we want him to do that. Now, to help him do that, we're going to run two other bruisers with him, Agarius and Dwayne. Both really good characters, and both built a little bit tanky here. We're going to go Golem on Agarius, Demon Wall on Dwayne. We're going to want them to just sort of be the awesome units in PvP that they are, enhanced by Cecil, and see what they can do. So let's see it in action, right? We want to find a team that has physical damage and piercing, because we're built to fight piercing specifically. So we'll just scroll through here. We'll look for some teams. Here's one. Okay, Bear. Now, one thing about this team is it has Nivlu on it. Nivlu might be a counter to Cecil. We're still going to jump into this fight, but Nivlu has her like debuffing shots. She might end up removing Cecil's shields. If she does that, that really hampers his ability to be a support. But she might not. Honestly, I've never run Cecil into Nivlu before because she's too new. This will be interesting to watch. Okay, Nivlu's going to start by buffing the party moving forward. Agarius is going to put Regen on the whole group. Now that's really good for Cecil because, as you just saw, he uses his own HP to do his shields. And Dwayne is not very good at grouping with the team because he has 4 moves. So you see he like moves out of range there, which means Cecil might get to cast his shield twice. Dispel. Okay, there's the Dispel on Agarius. She got the shield, and then she lost it from that. Now, will she get it again from Cecil? I'm curious to see how this is going to work. Double piercing unit, that's good for us. You can see how the Leviathan card was very effective at countering Dwayne's jump there. Cecil's actually going to move into damage range, and you can see the significant amount of damage he did, and he nerfed Kane's attack. So he did not go for shielding again, he went for damage. I'll take it. I'll take eliminating an enemy unit and nerfing the Kane over another shield any day. Alright, we're out here sustaining through. It's all good so far. Enemy Kane has Courage procced. Great. Another shield from Cecil. Didn't have enough AP or the ability to go stand next to anybody to kill someone. Little unfortunate here with like where everybody's standing. Nivlu's kind of kiting in this weird effective way. But we have AP now, so we'll finish her off. And there we go. I would say Nivlu was pretty effective against Cecil. However, Cecil was also very effective in hurting Dwayne and Kane. He did massive damage. And yeah, overall not a bad showing. Although he was more of a DPS bruiser that fight than a true buffer. you still got to see a little bit of how he worked. Let's find another fight without Nivlu in it and see how that goes. Okay, for this fight, the main DPS character on the enemy team is Kayn. They're running a tank Agarius and a little Leela as support. So we're not going to be great against the little Leela if she chooses to do a lot of damage. We don't have a lot of spirit, we don't have a lot of magic resist, etc. But we should be very, very effective in tanking the Kayn's hits. Or at least Dwayne and Agarius should be. Kayn's going to be bad news for Cecil if he targets him. But that's just kind of, Kayn's really good. Alright, anyway, there's our region for Cecil. We've moved him to slot 3 this time, just to give him a chance to maybe cast a few more shields. We got to see him do a lot of damage in the last fight, but I'd really like to highlight his ability as a support in this fight, and maybe less as a bruiser. Although, we can tell he's really good at both of those things. Anyway, enemy team buffing up, starting to move into range. There's Bells on our Agarius, and she's running Vow, so the enemy should target her first. Although Dwayne is also running his hate buff, so really the enemy should target anybody but Cecil. Nice. Dwayne lands a disable on the enemy Agarius and then catches a shield from Cecil. He's in really good shape, and he set up our team to be really effective here. Let's see what kind of damage Kayn is about to do to Dwayne, I believe, who was targeted there. 888 from his jump. I will take that all day. The enemy Leela is kind of struggling to get into range to do anything here, so maybe a little bit of a mess up by the enemy on their AI. There's our blade attack, nerfs attack from both Agarius and Kayn. Okay, more hate from our tank, great. Ooh, limit break from enemy Kayn here. So now, his attack is down, and Agarius has a shield. Look at that. That really didn't do a whole lot of damage. Now, he gets to go again, like really fast right there, and he finishes off Cecil, but look how healthy our other 2 team members are here. We're going to finish off Kayn momentarily. He does have Protect from Leela, so that is helping him survive. He's going to jump, land on Agarius. Again, not really doing a whole lot of damage. Our damage mitigation ability here. This dude is fast. Oh my goodness, that Kayn is a speedy boy. He's going to get a Curata here. Man, this Kayn's like the fastest Kayn I've ever seen in my life. Agarius is going to go down. I thought we were looking really good in this fight. We're just getting... This Kayn is just popping off. The full life's going to miss because the enemy turned into a crystal and died. But okay, Dwayne still has a few shields left. So can he 1v2 this? The slow from Kayn has been absolutely crippling to our team here. And it looks like we're actually going to run out of turns. So we're going to lose this fight. However, we lost that fight in a really weird way. I actually thought that Cecil performed very well in that fight. He was able to give his shield to everybody who needed it. He nerfed the damage from Kayn and from the enemy Dwayne. And we performed pretty well. Now, we ended up grouped in a weird way. All 3 got hit with Kayn's slow, and he just burned us down and literally 1v3'd. That's the power of Kayn. Sometimes you're just going to stand in places where he's like, ha, I have the perfect AoE to hit your whole team multiple times and slow everybody. Shoot! It happens. Alright, let's do one more fight. Let's show off Cecil one last time, and then we will move on to giving him a grade. Okay, this is a really cool team we're looking at here. We have Warrior of Light, Thancred, and Kayn. We're going to do a Thancred video here as soon as I get mine to 99. And I'm going to highlight Thancred as a support character. So I'm curious to see how this enemy is using Thancred. And again, their main DPS is that Kayn. We're going to hope that this time Kayn does not, we don't just kind of line up and say, please Kayn, kill our whole group for free. We hope that doesn't happen. Alright, it looks like the enemy Thancred is Dragoon Spect. Now that's perfect for us. We're running Pierce Resist. We're going to have physical shields. We should have no problem dealing with that. Enemy Kayn staying back a little bit more this time. They have a tank, so we're going to have to chew through this Warrior of Light before we can kill Kayn maybe. It'll be interesting. Let's see if we have the damage. because this Thancred's going to be a tanky boy as well. Alright, AP's not looking like it's going to be a problem for us. We're getting our buffs off. Magic Infuse on Thancred, that should take care of a lot of his AP. There's Courage on Kayn. Courage is such a good ability on Kayn. You saw its power to turn a fight around in the last fight. Anyway, there's the shield for Dwayne. So both of our bruisers have shields now. Let's see what this Thancred's jump does. 562. I would say that was effectively tanked. Taunting Blade from Agarius. Dwayne's turn. Launch. We're starting to chew through Warrior of Light a little bit. Agarius tanking. And we're nice and spaced out this time. So we're not going to catch an insane amount of like Kayn AoE. Here we get to see the limit break. Awesome. 900 and some damage with a stun, so that Warrior of Light's going to miss a turn. Agarius has used her whole shield now. I want to point that out. She just took 3 hits. The shield's off. Let's see what Cecil decides to do, because he's definitely in range to put out some damage here, and I bet you he chooses to go that route. Yeah, Shining Double. There's his 2-hit attack. In total did about 2,000 damage, but chained really nicely with Agarius' next attack, and we've burned through 2 members of the enemy team. Now, we've seen this before, Kayn versus 3, but I feel a lot better about it this time around. Oh, if that stop would have landed, I'd have felt even better. There's Courage. We just need to hit him again. We tanked that nicely. You could see our Pierce Resist coming through. And then the game is going to freeze when we summon Golem. Awesome. We don't get to see the killing blow that is Golem smashing that dude to dust. I'm going to assume we won. Right there. Okay, let's go give this dude a grade. Let's talk about what he's good at, what he's bad at, etc. We're going to use the same metrics we've used for the other supports. So that's healing, buffs, damage, movement, speed, and survivability. Now, right off the top, you know this dude's getting a 0 for healing. He doesn't heal. You can't even really hold it against him, right? Like, he's like, how you grading me on healing? We never studied for this or whatever, right? All right, so he just doesn't get any points for healing. It's obvious. All right, buffs. Now we're getting into what this dude does. He has that special buff that makes him better than just generic buffers, right? He's not bringing Protect and Shell. He's bringing a 50% damage reduction buff that he can cast in an AoE, and that he can cast 3 times a fight. Really good. He also has self buffs that he can do on himself if you build him to get that off, or he'll use TMRs to buff himself if you don't want him using that. You have some flexibility here. He can buff into physical, he can buff into magic, but he really excels at buffing into physical. So, I'm going to give him a 90 on buffs. I think his buffs are right at that range where I'm like, dude, you have an A in buffing. Now, if he had a little bit more diversity, I'd feel comfortable pushing that number up a little higher, but I am comfortable giving him an A in buffs. His buffs are great. Damage. Here's where he starts really being a lot better than other supports, although not quite to DPS level. I'm going to give him an 85 in damage. He does good damage. It's really respectable. It's not into that I'm going to get an A because I'm a true DPS class range, but you saw it. He can kill people. I don't know that you're counting on him to carry fights, but if you need more damage, he's there for that. He's a buffer, damage dealing, nerfing guy. Awesome. Okay, movement. I give him a 70 here. He has the basic 3-1 movement, but you don't really want him getting out in front early. You want him getting his shields up, getting his buffs on, and then going out there and trading with the enemy. So he has that base 3-1, which a lot of times I give a 65 to, but I'm going to give it a 70 because I feel like it fits his kit. So I'm really good with a 70 there. Speed, he's not really slow. He's not really fast. I believe his base agility is 55. That's fine for a support. I'm going to give him a 75. Just say, hey, passing grade on this dude. Good. No problems. All right. Survivability. Yep. He's a survivable dude. You can build him to buff himself. You can build him to use zombie TMR, etc. He can wear all of the armor. Yeah. Like, he's for a support. Remember, we're talking about supports here. For a support, this dude is really survivable. He can take a few hits in most situations, especially if he's built to resist that type of thing. which remember, I would suggest using him as a card holder for something like Leviathan or for something like Horn to reduce that, reduce a specific damage type that you're looking to fight against. So he's a big time survivability guy, and he's a big time increase your group's survivability guy. Now, overall, what grade am I going to give Cecil? I'm going to give him an 85 out of 100. I don't think he's up to that, like, Ayaka level. Like, she's my A. I would still, you know, if it came down to it and we're in, like, the World Championships of Guild Wars or something like that, I'd probably use Ayaka instead of Cecil. Let's be real. However, Cecil is cooler than Ayaka, in my opinion. His playstyle is more aggressive. He does more damage. I think his unit design is really awesome, and I have a lot of fun using him. He's usable. Absolutely. And so I'm going to give him an 85. If this is the dude you have for supports, he was free. He was free. If this is your support, go all in. Go do a lot of damage to people. Put your shields up and run people over. Fun. That's more fun than casting full life and sustaining, in my opinion. So those are my thoughts. These are just my thoughts. This grading scale is completely arbitrary, but if you liked it, you know, throw me a like, leave me a comment that says, hey, you nailed it, or hey, Cecil actually sucks, you're an idiot. Whatever you want to say, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, and let me know what unit you'd like to see next. We're still in the support series right now. Season 1 of the tank series is done, so check that out if you want to. And I will see y'all in the next video.